Hey y'all, we're still around the fire. Tonight's story, The Man Who Borrowed Names.
There was a man who moved into the narrow blue house on the corner one summer. Nobody introduced him, and yet by the next morning it felt like everyone had always known him. He didn't shake hands, he didn't linger, he didn't explain anything. He just smiled at you, polite in a way that made you suspicious. "I think we've met," he said to everyone at least once. And somehow, it always felt true. The first time I noticed, it was with Mrs. Calder next door. She swore she had never seen him before, but later she told me she had dreams that he had been living there for years. I didn't ask how she knew. She was like that, but she looked frightened in the way people look at mailboxes that have been crooked for too long. He borrowed names. Not legally, not permanently, not even in a way that anyone else would notice, just socially. He would walk up and say a name, and suddenly that person existed again, but not in the way you remembered. An ex-boyfriend, a friend from 10 years ago, the kid from high school who knew too much about your parents. You'd hear the name, and it would feel wrong in your mouth if you tried to say it aloud. I first noticed when he borrowed Evan. Evan was my first boyfriend. We met awkwardly one night in a kitchen with bad lighting and too much music. He had a laugh that made you imagine sunlight in someone's chest. We broke up months later, without anger, but leaving space that felt hollow. The man lived in the blue house for 3 weeks while using Evan's name. By the end, every time I tried to remember Evan's face or his laugh, it felt slightly askew, like a song played one note off. I asked around. Nobody else seemed to notice, but I didn't have the courage to correct anyone. During those weeks, strange little things happened. The mail sometimes disappeared, only to show up weeks later in a pile at the end of the driveway. The neighbor's dog would bark at the empty house for hours, and then stop, suddenly, as if it had grown bored. People passing by sometimes paused mid-step, as if the street itself had decided to consider them. I went over once when he was outside, dragging a single suitcase across the cracked sidewalk. I asked him why he did it. "People shed names," he said, "and sometimes they forget them. I catch them before they hit the ground." I laughed, nervously. I asked him what he got out of it. He looked at me like the question was a story someone else had told him, and he was just hearing it again. "If I don't borrow names," he said quietly, "there's nothing left to call me." I didn't know what to say to that, so I nodded and watched him disappear into the blue house. He packed that suitcase, walked out the door, and by the morning, it was empty again. The blinds were drawn, the lawn slightly taller than it had been. The world went on. After he left, Evan's name came back to me slowly, like a bruise fading, like remembering a song I had only half remembered. Not completely, but enough to hold on to. I sometimes catch people using my name in passing, a stranger at a coffee shop, a kid at the bus stop. It's always slightly off, like someone testing it out before handing it back. I pretend not to notice. Some things don't need to be found again. And every now and then, I think I see him walking by, one suitcase in hand, polite smile intact, borrowing names no one can notice, keeping a ledger of everyone who once mattered and no longer does.
That's our story for tonight. Perhaps it's a bit beyond belief, but you never know. These stories could be true.